Hey, good afternoon. Have you ever found yourself overwhelmed? Maybe a better question would be, have you found yourself overwhelmed recently? We have been going through a lot of that, and I've heard that from a lot of coaching clients and a lot of folks that I've talked to of just a sense of being overloaded and overwhelmed. And we don't actually talk about what overwhelmed is. We list it as an emotion, but it's actually a conglomeration, a clump of emotions. It's not just one thing. So typically when we talk about being overwhelmed, it's that we have enough emotions that we don't know which one to process first. And for most human beings, we're only able to process a handful of emotions at a time before we become overwhelmed. So it might be helpful to realize then that when you are finding that sense of what overwhelmed feels like for you, whether you're holding your breath, whether you feel a tightness in your chest, whatever the symptoms are that are specific to you for noting that you're overwhelmed, it's that you have a bunch of emotions that are spilling over and that it's difficult to know where to start. The antidote to being overwhelmed is to slow things down and start to tease apart what emotions are there. Being as specific as possible, knowing that it might be that angry, sad, scared, whatever it might be, it's possible to also be positively overwhelmed and overwhelmed with joy. And all of the pieces pulled apart allows you to process each one individually. It might make it the sense of overwhelmed go down by looking at what are the individual parts and which one needs to be processed first. As I've said before, our emotions are meant to be felt, and understanding which needs to flow through first allows that overwhelmed feeling to dissipate and relief to happen. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, do you take the time to slow down and identify which emotions are present? By pulling them apart, by looking at how they go together and looking at whether the largest one needs to be processed first or the smallest one, the easiest one, you then can decide how to proceed. The blockage then goes away. For you personally, the next time that you feel overwhelmed, that's my request, is to pause, realize that you are feeling overwhelmed, observe what pieces are there, and then make a decision about which one to proceed with first. See what happens and see if that overwhelmed sensation goes away. That could be on a daily basis, it could be on a weekly basis, it could be all different sizes and scales, but see if it's possible to shift by looking at what is present in that conglomeration. Take some time and think about that this week. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to have a private conversation. Please also comment below and feed the algorithm by liking and sharing this video with someone that you might know that might be interested. I'm John Rhoads. This is Rhoads Life Coaching. I hope you're able to find purpose and meaning in daily life.